One of the most shocking things to us when Jamie was recovering was to find out that depression is the primary number one response that happens to people who are connected to a traumatic brain injury. That's the survivor and the caregivers. They all get depressed. We have a couple stories that we're going to share with you, and we want to really focus on when you're doing your recovery, enjoying and feeling good about things. Jamie's going to tell first a story.
One of the things that is really important as a survivor of a brain injury, when you're building a new life, is to recognize that you are building a version 2.0 of life. People try to hold on to who they were in the past or get focused on who they want to be in the future. You really need to recognize who you currently are and fall in love with that version of yourself, because that's who you are. And Jamie 2.0 is who I had to fall in love with when I was recovering. Another thing that's really important when you're in the recovery stages is to find passions and ways that you can perform. Some examples of that is joining a book club, or for me, going back to college, because the fact that I had teachers judging and grading me, I can tell you, on finals week, I thought it was crazy that why I went back to college was so people could watch me perform, but it meant so much for me to have to be able to deliver things and build a future and feel like I'm always moving towards my goals and dreams.
It's really surprising that as a caregiver, you might get depressed, that overwhelm, that it's taking so long, my life is lost, who I was before, who I want to be. All of those things can really cause you as the caregiver to be depressed. So just like with Jamie, finding the thing that maybe it's small, maybe it's huge, but allowing yourself to feel that you have something that's yours and productive and important for you.
Something that helped me a lot was writing down my thoughts afterwards. Now, I did it a little bit creatively because writing down all my struggles was not something I wanted to do. I wanted to write as if I was writing a story. So I would just write down my accomplishments of each day. So however you do it, take the effort to notice your accomplishments. Maybe it's what you're working on, but just acknowledge the things that are going through and take steps forward.
It's positive, valuable to go seek support for yourself, to go find a therapist, as long as it's somebody who is supporting you and giving you some feeling of relief from your depression. Make sure that you find a way to understand that being depressed, overwhelmed, out of control, these are normal. You don't have to feel bad about it. What you really need to do is to say, yes, it's okay that I feel this way, because, well, it is depressing when your loved one is recovering from their traumatic brain injury. But on the other side, remember, your loved one is recovering. And that's what we focus on, and that's what we attend to. We don't have to look at where they're going and how amazing they're going to be at some point. We just need to know that we can love them, we can care for them, we can be with them, and they are recovering.
The first winter after my brain injury, I thought I was going to go back to being a professional skier. And when I realized I was not going to go back to competition, I got really overwhelmed. I would have crying outbursts maybe 5 times a day. And I started going to see therapy thanks to my mom, because I didn't think I needed to go to any therapy at the time. So she convinced me to go, and I went, and I spent the whole first session crying. And then I continued to go, and I can tell you it was one of the best things I ever did in my life, going to go seek help in my recovery process, because it is a huge recovery process and you can find help and support along the entire journey. When I'm interviewed about my brain injury, a lot of people say, if you could rewind in time, would you? And the answer is no. I had a good life and I loved it, and I love my life now. And I'm so thankful for everything I learned through my incredible journey. Some people say it's still happening. I'm years down the road and I'm still making changes and recovering. So it's a long, long process, but I firmly believe you can create a life of yourself 2.0 that you want to be living. And if they ask you, would you turn back time? You would say no.
We're learning so much more about depression than we've known before. It's okay. It's not something that you need to be afraid of. It's something to just know that it's a part of the process. Being depressed, it's something that can be overwhelming, and when you're depressed, you don't feel like you want to try to get out of it. I want you to go ahead and give yourself and give your loved one the little nudges that can get you past being depressed, because that is what's going to make the recovery into a new place, into the place of fun, enjoyment, and full of laughter and love.